Good morning. Today's Friday, April the 24th, and I'm actually going to send this out to you, my families, today, because I just wanted to kind of have a from the heart talk. Um, this has obviously been a weird time for all of us, and we're adjusting and monitoring as we go. And I hope you guys are getting into the routine of it. I certainly am. But the state is going to be making an announcement today at 3 o'clock regarding the rest of the school year. And from what I gather from the folks I follow, and I stay very tuned into state politics, especially when it comes to education. My guess is we're not coming back, and that they're going to focus their energies on making sure that when we do come back, that we are prepared to keep the kids safe. So I've heard all sorts of different theories and ideas floating around, and of course, the challenge that we face at our schools is we're just overcrowded. So I can't even fathom it. At any rate, it's disheartening only because I miss your kids. I miss them, and it's not the same being online. I mean, I'm choosing really not to Zoom to teach because it's just not productive, because we all end up just wanting to say hey and chit chat. So the kids, if they want to drop in to say hi to me on the Zoom meeting today, remember it really is for tutoring, but come on, they can come on and say hi. I like seeing their little faces. Teaching sixth grade feeds my soul, and I'm starving right now. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the grades, and I know that was something I also read that took place at the State Board of Education meeting yesterday. CMS has already told us not to give grades, to give feedback, and so I'm literally sitting here on my computer throughout the day watching the Julius Caesar written responses come through, and I'm giving feedback in a very, very rapid amount of time so that your kids can see what I've had to say, and if they want to redo it, they can redo it. But I also I know a lot of people are just like, oh, my kids aren't going to work, it's not for a grade, and I get it. We are all conditioned to, work with reward when none of us would work without a paycheck, right? I mean, I have a volunteer gig, but I have to have a full-time job too. So I just want to impart this from my heart to you, that education in and of itself is worth the time and effort put into it, regardless of getting a grade or not. That's just the end of the story. Whatever skills that we have worked on with your kids all year long are going to carry them through to next year, and we build on that. And in social studies in particular, we work on using textual evidence to formulate a reasonable argument. And again, at this point of the school year, the kids should be doing DBQ projects, which is document-based questions, and in preparation for moving up to 7th grade, and that's sort of been interrupted. And because we were told we can only do 120 minutes of instruction, including assignments per week, it's so limiting. So we thought 5 sentences as a minimum would be a reasonable thing to ask the kids to do, and they certainly can do more. And I am so pleased that after the first round came through, and I was a little nervous about them, when I sent y'all the feedback, and then I started giving the feedback to the kids, the quality of the work that I'm seeing right now is really good. So they're using the text. We had a couple wobbles where kids, and maybe some parents didn't understand where the information was coming from, but that's okay. I mean, y'all don't always know what's going on in a teacher's head when we sat down and planned that lesson. And so please make sure before you get frustrated, you reach out to us. Again, I have a chat window open constantly. It is so easy for the kids to just get on the chat room and ask me a question. And if they're too shy to ask it in front of everybody else, they can go ahead and send an email. But one of the things I've been loving about the chat window is that they're helping each other, and that's what we do in class all the time. So it's been awesome. And then some of my kids are actually doing like little Zooms on their own, which is fine. I am all about collaboration and help. I'm not about plagiarizing and Googling. So I would encourage that any day of the week. But again, there's days where I'm sitting here like drumming my fingers going, where is everybody? Nobody's taking advantage of office hours. And the last time we Zoomed, because we didn't have one before spring break, there was literally kids just sitting in there staring at me, not for any productive reason. So take advantage of the opportunities. But again, I just, from the heart, I haven't been sleeping all week. I think it's because my anxiety is kicking off because I'm so worried about this and what it's going to do. But again, I know our kids are resilient, and I know our kids are really capable kids, and that they'll recover from this. But I just want to make sure that we're continuing practicing the skills. Again, it's not about sixth grade, it's about the big picture and all the way through to their graduation from high school and into college and beyond, because we're teaching those critical thinking skills, which is more worthwhile than any letter grade I could ever give. And that is the crux of education, right? That's the whole purpose of it. And my other thing to it is that that some of our ancestors, I have Irish blood, they had to fight for the right to have an education. Even in this country, I mean, obviously, in North Carolina, public education wasn't even legalized until towards the end of the 18th century or 19th century, excuse me. I better brush up with my U.S. and North Carolina history subjects. I'm teaching 8th grade next year. Oh my goodness. So it really, we're in a weird time. Your kids are going to tell this to their kids and their grandkids. The year that time stood still and we all were out of school forever. And my neighbor and I were talking yesterday. He's like, do you ever remember a time? And I'm like, 9/11. And then it just occurred to me. I'm like, oh yeah, the blizzard of '78. I remember that. I'm from Boston, so we were out of school for 2 weeks. It was a big deal. 2 weeks, This is something else entirely. But I think we all know that education is never going to look the same. But I also know that that I am earning my paycheck every single day, and the teachers on our team are earning their paychecks every day for your kids. So please remember that. If you're frustrated, just come to us. I mean, especially me. I don't have my own little ones running around except my four-legged friends here. So I'm here for you. I get up in the morning, I make my coffee, I sit down. You can see I'm sitting at my kitchen table, and I pull the computer up, and I am available online throughout the day. I mean, it's what we're here for. So anyway, any questions? Again, y'all know how to get a hold of me. We'll keep doing this. Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask or think about is, we were talking in our weekly staff meeting on Wednesday about what to do for the 8th graders. And we actually, we're going to get creative and think of things for the 6th graders. When yearbooks are going to be coming back, and we're going to have to figure out how to get Chromebooks back and all that as we approach the actual end of the school year. And once the quarantine is lifted, that we thought maybe we could do some sort of yearbook signing at the school, so the kids can come back and kind of have that finalization of the end of the school year. But we'll keep you in mind, and if there's something that you think about, and we already had our end of year stuff planned, and I'll reach out to the team leads, and we have some money, but I also think we talked about donating our money to the 8th graders because they really are getting shortchanged. So I was really thinking about this last night. Insomnia is a great thing. You think about things you don't have time to think about. I know all sorts of schools are doing all sorts of interesting different things for their rising, or for their seniors, but our rising 9th graders. I was thinking about, and I'm going to reach out to a colleague in a minute because her husband owns a production company, and she's got a college-age son and a high school-age daughter, that if we could do something, pinwheels would be fairly easy to do, and cheap. You know what I mean? They wouldn't cost a lot of people a lot of money, but we could maybe do a pinwheel and sort of slide each 8th grader's name on them, and then bring them out to the football field and maybe spell them out into something, and then have a camera drone come overhead and do so. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm going to run this by some other people. But if you have other ideas of something really special we could do for the 8th graders, give us a reach out. All right? I'm sorry I took up so much of your time, but thanks for listening. It's really appreciated. And I'm heading up to the school today because I had some masks that I was bringing up to Ms. Brooks. So after my Zoom meeting with the kids today, I'm gonna leave the house for the first time since last week. I mean, I've left the house, but I haven't gotten in the car and driven anywhere. So anyway, good to see you.